Aloha, guys. This week's controversial topic is a fun one. It's fat versus muscle. And this is an ongoing controversial topic for the world and in the fitness industry. A lot of people get addicted to the gym and training. I'm one of those people. I feel terrible on days that I don't train. But the most important thing is that you facilitate or harness a very healthy place for your muscles to grow, to remain healthy, and to remain hard. The second that you challenge that, and the moment that you create a stressful environment for your muscles, is the very moment where you are now softening the muscle tissue and you are hurting muscle growth and development. And the body's not always a fun thing in the way that it's set up. It's actually on the hierarchy of things, it's set up to eat your muscle first. Fat and water is secondary, and it's smart that way. This much muscle will power your body for days, whereas it would take a considerable amount of fat and water to do so. So in the world of, evolution and survival, the body will maintain fat tissue before it gets rid of it. So the way we get around that is we support the muscle with the proper diet, nutrition, high clean fat, high protein, low carb, to justify the style of training that we're doing to keep up with our natural muscle development. You can change the ingredients and you can change the style in which you take your nutrition or your supplementation to justify extensive growth or extensive hardening of the muscle. But the important thing to understand is the second that muscle becomes vulnerable is when it will start deteriorating. Now, coming back to muscle versus fat, that was just kind of a quick, not example, but a quick explanation of how important it is to maintain a good diet. Coming back to muscle versus fat, your fat in comparison to your muscle is extensive. Muscle's a lot heavier than fat. So a fist size of muscle could be about 4 or 5 fist size of fat. A lot of people will step on the scale on an inappropriate diet and they'll have lost like 10 pounds in a week, or, even anywhere from 7 to 10 pounds in a week is telling me as a trainer, unless you have excessive weight to lose, even then it's telling me as a trainer that you've done it unhealthy, which means you were not properly nutritioned and your body most likely ate away at most of your muscle, some fat and water as well, but probably most of your muscle. Extensive drops like that are just not heard of. It's just not scientifically justifiable to drop that much body fat. You can drop multiple different types of things like muscle, fat, and water and get that kind of a result, but you cannot drop body fat in a healthy manner while maintaining solid muscle to last more than about 1 pound to 2 pounds a week. 2 pounds a week's even pushing it. Most of my clients look to get about a loss of 1 pound to 2 pounds a week. That's a healthy loss. That means that your nutrition's on point. You can also look out months in advance and see where you're going to be because of the consistency. You can say at 1 pound a week, I'm going to be this much lighter in this amount of time. Those guidelines really help people stay focused in understanding, where the finish line is. Really quick too, I want to go back to satisfying your muscle maintenance with your nutrition. A lot of beginners to the gym, or people who are interested in going to the gym, are elderly people or teenagers. Anybody new to the gym at any age needs to understand that it is in your best interest to stay out of the gym and out of that kind of activity that God did not intend for you to do until your nutrition is consistent and is justifying that style of training. You cannot just be on a regular diet, 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day, something that you decided is in your best interest, or you watched a Google review or a YouTube video and said, okay, I'm going to try this diet. Like, that's not how it works. You need to see a nutritionist, or you need to come to me. We need to have a one-on-one and discuss what it is that you would like to do and what form of nutrition you will then have to take on to justify that performance. Otherwise, you're technically aging faster. I love saying this to my older clients, while it's really hard to look somebody in their 80s and tell them to their face that their doctor sent them to the gym to essentially kill them quicker or age them faster. It's the truth. Again, back to what I told you, what the doctors don't know. What they don't understand is working out for somebody who's elderly or going to the gym regularly without assessing nutrition could actually result in a lower life expectancy. You're now asking that person whose body's already in a terrible condition muscularly, where the muscle's extremely soft, it has not been fed properly in some time, and you're asking them now to train, to put weight on their joints, and to do something that their body is just not prepared for. I have actually sent people away from the gym that have come in and consulted with me as a trainer, making a living off of people coming in. I'll send them away and say, get on this nutrition setup for a week straight, consistent, then come back and see me, we'll discuss training. And even then, I go slow into their training because I understand biochemically their muscles just playing catch up. At the end of the day, when you're building lean mass because you're feeding yourself appropriately and you're trying to look skinnier, this is a lot of my women out there, the scale's not going to be your friend because muscle weighs more. So you may very well only lose 0.5 to a pound a week because while you are also burning fat by taking that proper nutrition and hardened muscle to the gym, you are also putting on lean mass from your consistent, high protein, clean fat, low carb diet. So it's going to almost like balance out to a certain extent, unless the variation from carb intake to calorie burn is extreme. It's going to stay fairly even. You're not going to see major losses. It's in your best interest to then just look in the mirror every day, try some pants on, try a shirt on, wait for those comments from friends and family about how thin your face is looking or how lean you're looking. Don't go by the scale. I can't tell you how many women I've seen get lean but stay or maintain almost the same weight. It's also very much genetically driven. So you just want to keep these factors in mind. You want to constantly remind yourself of these facts that I'm preparing you with, because it will affect your ego when you don't see the scale going down. But it's just important that you understand that does not mean that you are not getting the results that you intended to get. You are cutting fat. There's nothing in the laws of science to support that you will not drop body fat and water over muscle with the proper nutrition, the proper training regimen, and sleep and so on and so forth. And genetically, some people have an advantage. Some people will drop quicker. Some people will put on lean mass faster. Hormones are very much important for this entire process. So I like to link all those together. If you haven't already seen the hormone video, please go back and check that out. Of course, if you have a heightened testosterone for a male or a woman, you're going to burn fat faster because you're going to recover quicker, you're going to put on lean mass quicker, and the hardening of the muscle will happen faster. So on a scale of 1 to 10, hardest muscle being a 10, you want to be in the 8 to 10 range if you want to burn fat really quick. If I take your twin, I say this in a lot of consults, if I take your twin and I say, go run on a treadmill every morning for 2 hours, don't change your diet, don't train with resistance weights, and your twin goes and does what I tell them for 3 months straight, completely consistent, every morning 2 hours on the treadmill, running, and I take you and we focus on no cardio, diet, and resistance training only for the first 30 days consistent. In 3 months, when we meet up with your twin, not only will you be leaner, you will look better, you will also be stronger, and you will actually have curves, because your twin, with the improper nutrition and the excessive cardio now, has deteriorated all their muscle almost. Their muscle is basically falling apart on them. It's very soft. It is not supporting their body as the shield that God intended it to. And the fat that they lost does not weigh as much as the muscle that they lost, whereas you put on lean mass but lost some fat. So it's just important that you understand this analogy that I'm proposing to you. This is what I do with a lot of my high-end clients. And it's a very simple science that just most people don't understand. Common sense isn't that common. The body is a little quirky, but once you really wrap your mind around what I'm saying, you're not so much worried about the scale anymore. Look for weight increases from week to week in regards to your strength training. Look for things in the mirror. Not a lot of people look at themselves in the mirror. Dress accordingly for your training session. Dress in a way that you can see the areas that you're training. It's typically a tank top every day, or a spaghetti strap, and short shorts on leg day, or spandex on leg day. If you see a new muscle in the